really likes to go and watch movies. You mentioned like Duke Street, which is now on Gala Street. Tell us about Nairobi in the 60s, the one that you remember.
This is not the Nairobi I know. Because the Nairobi I know was not as big as this, more so because of the buildings. But we enjoyed Nairobi just as we enjoy it today.
Yeah.
It has always remained the capital of Kenya. But I joined Nairobi, unlike you guys, because I joined Nairobi when I dropped out of school. For those who might not have read, I dropped out of school from Nairobi school, but it was then Prince of Wales. Most of the students were white. And in fact, even in my class were only 5 blacks.
Wow.
But sababu ya tabia yangu, because I wasn't a very good guy.
You're a bit rebellious.
I don't think I was born to please people so much. I was sent out of school. I was sent home to go for my parents, who were teachers, and I was afraid of what they would do to me. I decided to stay in Nairobi, so I joined Street Kids. And when you don't have anyone to look at, or anyone to get some, you must eat, you must put on clothes, you must do this and that. That is how I started becoming a criminal.
Yes. And I want to say that was a very, your 20s and your 30s were a very dramatic, you had a very dramatic time in your life. And then you ended up writing about it in your 30s, around maybe like 34. Was writing something that you loved? Were you exposed? Because like you said, your parents were teachers. So were books in your home? What was life like growing up?
Let me say, I thought of writing. When I was sent to prison, I had nothing to do. I was sent for 28 years, and fortunately, after an appeal, they were reduced to 14 years. Now, when I was there, there was nothing for me to do. That's when I started reading. You see, you think of from one robber. All the knowledge I have is from prison. But for all those years I stayed there, I read the books. In fact,
how did you find the books?
sometimes I would get them from the back door. Most of them, a criminal, when you throw a criminal somewhere, you must find a way of doing things the way he knows how.
So you contraband because of that?
So I probably, I got books from prison wardens. I had a very kind sister who said them to me. And this was after I had read one book by a person who has become a great friend of mine known as Wanjeri Gakuru. He wrote a book titled Across the Bridge. He had tried to write about crime, about prison, and I feel this man is writing so well that he has never even been to prison.
Yeah.
So I decided to write about prison and give a true picture of what prison life is like and what crime is like. So the idea came when I was in prison.
And so the book he's talking about is this one, My Life in Crime. And it is a serious book, let me tell you.
Yeah, it was published while I was still in prison.
Yes.
And in fact, 3 years after its publication, I was set free. Okay. But not before I was sent to solitary confinement for writing a book in prison without permission, where I stayed for 3 months. But then when the authorities read it, they realized I had written nothing about prison. They let me.
So that's what you were worried about? Not what you didn't want that?
Oh, they thought I had written things about prison. But I have also written about my life in prison.
The third book in the trilogy. So where did you find the materials? What were you writing on? How did you write this book?
Oh, you can guess. There are small papers. Some of them you cannot even believe. I was better to transfer the work to notebooks through talking to friendly wonders, and especially when they came at night, I would sleep in the wee hours after doing a lot of work, transferring what I've written to those notebooks, and then they would have come out to this. But I had a sister who was paying for it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. So how did you find a publisher? Because then the book came out. How did you find that person to support this book?
It's very interesting because I was introduced to my publishers by Guru Wakiam.
Oh, wonderful.
And with a very close friend today. When I sent that book out, the first person to get it was a deceased person called Wanjeri. He was a musician. He's the one who got my manuscript, gave it to Guru Wakiam, and he introduced the writings to Dr. Henry Takaka. And from then on, it was a matter of time, and then when I was doing prison, I had that book.
And that's when we were introduced to a guy called Jack Zolo.
Well, that was my name.
You was really your name?
Even those old friends of mine call me Zolo. If you guys know me as Kiriamiti, no one calls me Kiriamiti.
Come on, Kiriamiti, they don't really know you.
No, you call Kiriamiti at home, and maybe to do some books, they will tell you this is the one, but my name is Jack Zolo.
And where did that name come from? Because it's reminding me of Zolo, who was also an what's the word?
It's a Nigerian name. But we from Nigeria.
So
It's the mother name of a criminal named Robert Zolo. I think he's the one who made me become one.
Okay.
Yeah.